students, we extend you a warm welcome to Ashwamed 2014. Operations management plays a vital role in the industry today. ExOps, the operations committee of ExaMB, has always aimed at spreading awareness and knowledge on operations management among the students. It works towards bridging the gap between the industry and academics by conducting various events throughout the year. Today, we welcome you all to the flagship event of ExOps, that is Ashwamed, which brings together eminent personalities from diverse backgrounds to discuss on this year's theme, that is enhancing the supply chain through business analytics.
And the way this is going to be organized is that we are going through my nearest neighbor approach first. So the first speaker will be Mr. Yogesh, and then Mr. Milind, and then Mr. Ashraf, and they'll each have their talk for a few minutes, and then we'll open the house for question and answers. That's how we will be organizing this. So let's welcome our first speaker, and Mr. Yogesh, and thank you.
So Cummins delivers powers. So how many of you know about Cummins? Just raise hand. Is it because that I am coming, you have just gone through it? Nothing like that, right? Let us ask a lot of questions to him. Okay, fine. So, good. So, we are primarily into engine manufacturing. We have a lot of applications like locomotive. We are on highway, off highway on the industrial applications. So we manufacture engines, and then we have components division which provides components to engine, and we have power generation business, which is you must have seen those gensets which are there outside the buildings, etc. Big gensets. So those are again given by the industrial application. So they make the genset taking the engine. Engines are also going on the trucks. We have a JV with Tata Motors here, and we have a distribution business. So this is Cummins. So we are overall into engine manufacturing, components for the engines, and we have generator and distribution division. So overall, if you look at our share of business, we are 48% of it is in engines, and then components, distribution, and power generation. So there is one slide which I will be taking, which we will talk more about these businesses and their interlinks. So coming to supply chain scope and its importance. So today, if you see supply chain, what is supply chain?
This actually follows the question that she asked. In your presentation, you talked about business analytics using data. But today we have two types of data. One is structured, the unstructured part of it. Whatever packages you talked about, tools that you talked about, applications that we discussed here, they're all related to structured data. How do you plan to take about unstructured data in supply chain?
I will say I have limited experience in unstructured data as of now, at this moment. Luckily, I'm just working on the structured data, whatever I have. But I think wherever the data is not structured, it has to be a strategic call. So probably
the business analytics today is existing because we take care of the unstructured part of it also. And that comes from different users, end users, who do not put the data in a structured manner. So supply chain has the biggest problem that they do not take care of the unstructured data, and then this topic business analytics has come into being. So that's what just wanted to know if you have any such roadmap for that.
For BI, if you are talking about?
I'm talking about data, big data, and business analytics.
Okay, business analytics at this time, we have three focus areas, as I said. BI is partial, it is not our focus area number one. We see a lot of low-hanging fruit in these first three key initiatives that we are working. Definitely, if you look at that last slide, BI talks about having visibility across. But then To your question, I have not yet kind of looked at that particular angle. It's more kind of descriptive, predictive, these three kind of data that I have analyzed.
So this is on the demand side of our software, where you can, for example, a PNG would work with a Walmart and say, we want to collaboratively offer a discount or a promotion scheme to push one of these products, because it's important that we get rid of it in the supply chain fast. And associated with that would be discounting, revenue sharing for the increased volume between PNG and Walmart and so on. So some of our software enables you to do that as well. And a very important piece in the tactical planning is how you plan for safety stock. So safety stock planning is a very complex area where you take into account supply and demand variability, but essentially it allows you to postpone and pool. Postponement is the act of putting data as early in the supply chain as possible, because if you go and push it down, you lose the flexibility to redeploy it. And pooling is where you actually hold safety stock at component levels that are critical. So for example, many computer models might be using the same hard disk. You don't want to maintain a safety stock at the computer level, you want to maintain it at the hard disk level, because that's your key component. So these are some tactical things that many of our customers do. And strategically, you have a lot of things that you can do to actually act wisely in case you have problems. So you have supply chain network optimization that I think someone talked about, where you figure out that, if you have a problem with my Malaysian assembly plant, where else could I quickly divert this to? In the Apple example I gave you, if I have a sudden ramp up of my demand for iPad, where can I turn to get the components? All these, if they have been thought of at a strategic level, you have a very easy way to execute it once the actual problem happens.
To mind from an analyst standpoint, right? From a user standpoint or a business user standpoint, what comes to his mind about business analytics is that, okay, I see this, the trend, what do I do with it? How can I take action on it from a business user standpoint? From a statistician standpoint, what business analytics is all about is that, what algorithm should I use? What mathematical model should I use? How do I know that, how do I predict such a way that it is near to reality? So that's how he starts thinking about what are the algorithms should I use in the business analytics of data so that I can really come out with the right predictions. So business analytics got various decisions, but end of the day, our objective is to use the data to make people get the right decisions which can be really useful for them. Going forward, so we talked about it, right? William said it, torture the data, right? I like the word torture the data, right? So to get meaningful developments, you need to develop capabilities, right? It's not easy. You have to have a capability to develop data and also try to have a process in place and have a paradigm shift in your thinking so that you can make it work the way you want to work, because data is data. Data has to be made into information. From information it has to made to be so user friendly that way a corporate person or a supply chain person can use it to take the rightful decisions which can give him the return on investment or the base profitability or revenue what he's looking for, right? So there are paradigm shifts, right? So the critical criteria is that today most of the ERPs or most of the Fortune 500 companies do have.
My question is for Milind sir. So you talked about social networks and sentiment analysis. So my question is, where does this information fit in the supply chain, and how can companies leverage this information for their benefit? Secondly, you also talked about the data generated in the social network being manipulated by some of the data are fake. So how reliable is the information collected through social networks?
Yeah, thanks for the questions, good ones. The second question I'll answer first. The data in social networks right now is actually not that reliable. So I think this is a very early stage in supply chain companies actually trying to get this data and process it in a right way. There is a lot of noise in the data. You can identify certain trends from it. For example, we have an example of a customer that is using Twitter data feeds about its products and integrating that into our demand forecasting software. So what it looks at is on a day-by-day basis, you look at the Twitter feeds and
they have set up certain rules that say if these keywords are used, it's a positive sentiment. If other keywords are used, it's a negative sentiment. And then you kind of aggregate that sentiment of the data and then try and relate to whether it is a positive or negative sentiment on a whole, and that drives a little bit of your demand forecasting. So the early users of our of this kind of data we are seeing already, but it's not very prevalent. The company I'm talking about is a CPG company. So in those cases, you have a lot of data coming in when someone launches a new product, like a new Coke flavor and so on. But in many other areas in supply chain, like industrial manufacturing, chemicals, pharma, this is not a really big requirement right now.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is, as the day, we are proceeding towards new times, so lots of data are increasing in structured also, unstructured also. So how this is going to affect the performance of these tools?
Yeah, so there are a couple of layers to the data before it reaches the tool. So as you increase the structured and unstructured data, the unstructured data I'll take up first because that has the more volumes. So we have layers of processing before it reaches the
Now we
actual...
request Dr. Subhajyoti Ray to kindly present the mementos to our esteemed panel as a token of our gratitude. Please, sir.